Welcome, everybody. This is our annual Tech Titans Innovators lunch. It looks a little different than it has in years past because we're not eating pecan pie at this point, or at least I'm not. My name is Deborah Sawyer. I'm a tri-chair on the programs team. The programs team is the group within Tech Titans, the volunteer group within Tech Titans that plans these luncheons. And I also sit on the Tech Titans Executive Committee and Board of Directors. I've had an opportunity to meet most of you, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to our annual Innovators Luncheon. So a quick program announcement. We are going to attempt a virtual 30-minute networking session with the finalists after the program concludes. And we hope you have the time to stay on the call, enjoy meeting the speakers, and engage in a deeper discussion of the technologies that they are using. And they are well prepared to entertain your questions at that time. In addition to the monthly Tech Industry Luncheon Series, Tech Titans has a number of programs and projects that support and champion the North Texas technology community. If you're a member, I encourage you to join the committee and get involved. We are actively soliciting volunteers now for our committees as we begin planning our events calendar for 2021. We will stay virtual probably through the first half of the year with some hybrid events available. There are a number of committees, and please, you can go to the website, you'll find a list of those committees, and please get involved. If you are not a Tech Titans member, I recommend that you contact Barbara Tunstall, who's on the call. Barbara, you want to raise your hand? Her phone number is 214-455-9767, or you can reach her at barbara@techtitans.org. We invite you to join the other 375 companies that are members helping support technology here in North Texas. We can't have this luncheon without our presenting sponsor. This year's luncheon series sponsor is the University of Texas at Dallas, the Johnson School Design Capstone Program. And here for a few words to tell us what's happening over at UT Design is the Assistant Dean of the Johnson School of Engineering and Computer Science, Rod Wetterscott. Take it away,
Thanks,
Rod.
Deborah. Thank you, Deborah. And well, good morning, everyone. This is a really exciting day, an opportunity for us to celebrate some of the great innovation that's being done by both the emerging and legacy tech companies in North Texas. And so we're just thrilled at UT Dallas to congratulate you 8. What heroic and amazing things that you've been doing. So we're looking forward to your comments. To everyone here, we believe UT Dallas can be a great partner in your quest for innovation. You can hire our students, Jerry Alexander, who's on our meeting today. He's here to help. You can collaborate on fundamental research or gain access to unique and expensive equipment. Pete Porman's your man for that. And you can sponsor UT Design Senior Capstone projects. Don Purcell, waving his mighty hand right there, and I are here to help for that. Let me list just 8 of the 300 companies that have sponsored a UT Design Capstone recently. Raytheon, a team of mechanical engineering students. PepsiCo, a team of computer science, electrical, and mechanical engineers. Essilor sponsored a mechanical engineering team. Cersei Therapeutics, a team of biomedical and mechanical engineers. Corning, out of New York, a mechanical engineering team. Scottish Rite Hospital, another biomed and mechanical team. And Bailey Tool and Machine, a mechanical engineering student team. These companies have 4 things in common. They came to us with a challenge. They were thrilled with the results the students produced. They owned 100% of the work, and their team won first place in the country at a national competition for university engineering students. We have a total of 8 national first place awards. Why do I bring that up? As we speak, the National Design Competition for Mechanical Engineering, sponsored by the American Society of Mechanical Engineering, is underway. And just like we have the 8 finalists for the Tech Titans Innovation Award here, there were 8 finalists picked from the 500 universities that have mechanical engineering programs. And those 8 finalists are now competing, presenting their project and defending the questions and so on. Of those 8 finalists, 2 are from the UT Dallas UT Design program, one sponsored by Motorola and one sponsored by Klockner Pentaplast. So if you'd like to learn more, we hope that we're gonna have a 6-peat That's very greedy, but that's what UT Dallas is. We're kind of greedy when it comes to capstone. So we're hoping to have a 6-peak. And if you'd like to learn more about UT Design, just contact Don or myself, and we'll be happy to answer any questions. Again, congratulations, Innovation finalists, and invitation.
Hey, Rob, do you want to give everybody your email real quick? Sure.
Mine is Wetterskog. I've lived with that name my entire life. Wetterskog, WETTERSKOG at utdallas.edu. And Don Prochel is don.prochel, PROESCHEL at utdallas.com. Or you can just reach out to us going to utdesign.com, all one word.
Our email address is utdallas.edu.
Oh, did I say .com? Oh my goodness. I'm in the .com business. Yes, utdallas.edu. Thanks, Don. Without Don.
Right, thanks. Hey, Rod, thank you. And thanks to UTD Capstone Design Program for being our sponsor again this year. Now, we have our really big event is coming up on Friday, October the 23rd. That is the annual Tech Titans Award Gala. Our virtual presentation, the finalists in each award category will be recognized and the winners will be announced. Tickets are $25 and are still available for purchase. So I hope that you will join us next Friday afternoon for a fantastic and fascinating event. We'll continue to celebrate innovation in North Texas. It is now my pleasure to welcome Tech Titans President and CEO Bill Spurl. He is going to introduce our finalists and moderate today's Innovators Lunch program. Bill, take it away.
Thanks, Deb. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to what I think is one of the most fascinating programs we produce all year. You're going to hear really cool stuff from companies that have done great innovation, whether at the enterprise or emerging company level. Rod and Don, why don't you put your email addresses in the chat feature, and that way people can copy, access them, etc. So let me take a moment to explain kind of the format for this. We're going to have the enterprise and the emerging company finalists present in segments, and I will introduce each company and their speaker in alphabetical order by category. Each speaker will have 5 minutes to make their presentation. And after the entire set of finalists from that category are done, we'll have a 5 to 10 minute Q&A session contingent upon available time. Put your questions in chat, please. And the luncheon is scheduled to adjourn around 1 o'clock, may run a little long because the presentations are always fascinating, the Q&A is always long, but we will have a networking segment after all the presentations and all the Q&A. So again, put your questions in chat. So let me start with the Corporate Innovation Award finalists. These are the large companies. And this award category, by the way, is sponsored by Ericsson North America. Thank you very much. And so the Corporate Innovation Award recognizes a technology company for outstanding innovation and unique accomplishments through recent or potential breakthrough technology, or a new approach within the technology, or a new approach within the technology industry. The company must have a corporate headquarters or division office in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and have 2019 operating revenues of more than $200 million. So our first finalist in this category is Plus One Labs at Match Group, whose innovative apps are being used to foster more meaningful relationships through online dating. And Lord knows there's need to be a lot of online dating during a pandemic. So speaking on behalf of Plus One Labs is Senior Vice President Andy Chen. Andy, over to you.
Thanks, Bill. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the intro, Bill. Congrats to all the other finalists. Let me first start by telling you a little bit about Match Group for those of you who don't know much about us. So our mission is to spark meaningful connections. Are the slides up? I want to make sure the slides are up. Oh, there we go. So our mission is to spark meaningful connections for every single person in the world. We do this through a portfolio of about 40 different dating brands across the globe. You if you're single, or maybe if you're not single, you've probably heard of a couple of these brands: Tinder, Hinge, OkCupid, BLK, and of course, our first flagship brand, Match.com, which we now just call Match. There's a couple of things that people don't know about Match Group. First, we are headquartered here in Dallas. We've been proud to call North Texas our home for over 2 decades. And during that time, online dating has evolved from I would call a taboo thing to do, to becoming the most common way that single people now start a relationship. The second thing that people don't know about our company is that Tinder was actually incubated and grown internally. Tinder now has about 50 million users worldwide. It's the largest and most used dating app in the history of our category, and is actually now the highest grossing app in the entire app store that is not a game. So with the success of Tinder in-house, we wanted to continue to lean proactively into innovation and continue to take kind of calculated risks around coming up with the next big idea. And that is the goal of Plus One Labs, which is the team that I lead. Can you advance to the next slide, please? So Plus One Labs, over the years, we've launched dozens of different experiments and products. Some of these experiments have been commercialized and have started to generate significant financial value for the company. But other experiments simply helped us yield insights and learnings that ended up being leveraged by some of our operating brands. In working on these projects over time, we've started to isolate what we think is the recipe for innovation, at least for us. First, it begins with building the right team. We are a purposefully small and nimble team that's primarily comprised of engineers, designers, product managers, and past entrepreneurs. We try to hire people with just the ability to context switch from project to project. We actually hire for broad technical capabilities and not for specialists. And we simply try to find people who have an inherent interest in learning and working on new things. For us, we just absolutely focused on speed. We believe that debating without data is not something we do. In fact, we just strive to push products out as fast as we can and let customer feedback and data drive our decision making. And we honestly believe that speed improves our margin for error. The faster we go, the more redos and the more iterations we get. Of course, in our industry with software, it's a little bit easier to do that. And to help us move faster, we have built a reusable tech platform that we internally call Keystone. And Keystone is basically what I like to call a dating app starter kit. So instead of rebuilding everything from scratch, we start with Keystone and then we innovate and iterate on top of it. And finally, we try to leverage our scale. We have 100 million users globally, and those users give us a wealth of insights that allow us to formulate new concepts and to quickly test new ideas. Next slide, please. So I think everybody on this call has kind of grown to expect disruption in all of our respective industries. And I think that's the new normal. But in 2020 with COVID, disruption was just so different. It was fast, it was forceful, and it just changed the way we all lived overnight. So for many of us, we started working from home, WFH, but our users started dating from home. And that behavior literally changed overnight. I mean, why would you get on a dating app if you weren't intending to meet somebody in person? And so people went into this extended period of social isolation. And during that time, we believe that it had never been more lonely to be single. So fortunately at Plus One Labs, we had just launched a new dating app concept in 2019 called Ship. And we created Ship as an online dating experience that actually involved your friends in what we thought was a pretty fun and social way. So Ship not only allows single people to find dates for themselves, but also to find dates for their friends. You can get on the app, you can connect, you can chat with friends, you can actually see what your friends are doing on the app. And so because of COVID, the team immediately doubled down on Ship, because not only does it allow our users to find people they want to date, but it allowed our users to have this very intimate shared experience with their friends as well. So now Ship's approaching almost 1 million installs as we end the year. Also with COVID, all of our brands started to readjust our roadmaps to really focus on live video technology. In fact, Plus One Labs launched the company's first video-based dating app in 2017. It was called Spotlight. And so Spotlight actually allowed us to gain a ton of learnings around how our users would use video, but we could never get users to adopt it and meaningfully, at least. But that all changed this year. COVID actually has helped to normalize the use of video. I mean, we've seen it, right? Zoom, Google Hangouts, FaceTime, House Party, all these apps just took off during COVID. But to be honest, online dating to me has always been a misnomer. People really didn't date online with our products. They met online. And the dating still happened offline. But with the advent of video, all of our brands now are launching some really cool video powered experiences that we believe can truly deliver this promise of online dating. So it's been a challenging year for, I think, everybody on this call, especially and we were no different. But even during this time, we've seen that love and innovation can still flourish in the most amazing ways. And I'm extremely proud, incredible, and thankful to my team for all the hard work they've done. So thanks for the opportunity to speak to you all, and thank you very much to Tech Titans for this recognition as a finalist. It's an honor.
Andy, thanks so much, and thanks for making life better for lots of single people out there and bringing happiness. Well done. So our next presenter comes from Barry, Appelman & Leiden. This worldwide corporate immigration law firm uses an end-to-end case management platform that tracks and provides real-time updates on its immigration cases. Presenting on the company's behalf as head of products, Chenille Janot. Chenille?
Hi, thanks for the introduction. Yes, I'm Chenille Janot. I'm our head of products with Barry, Appelman & Leiden. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. Within the tech space, you may not have heard of BAL before. We're a corporate immigration law firm, and we have a formal alliance with Deloitte. That alliance is powered through the software product and the technology that my team built, our flagship product, Cobalt. Our products team operates within the law firm as a software company would operate. We built Cobalt and the products team from the ground up in the cloud, and we successfully migrated all our internal users and clients to it in late 2017, and we sunset all of our old products then. Actually, speaking of the cloud, our scalable cloud-based architecture was put to the test over the last few weeks. Typically, before someone can apply for a green card, they have to get in line to apply. Some people wait 2, 3, 5, even 10 years before they can apply. Well, at the end of September, our US government made a change to the visa bulletin that essentially allowed almost every category to kind of skip the line and apply now. So we experienced more than double our peak traffic and 11 times our normal peak volume of documents uploaded during our influx of work during this time. And that volume of work has been sustained since September 25th, and we've been able to successfully scale to meet that challenge. So we're super proud of the product that we've built and how a real life event has proven our technology to be successful. Cobalt also supports the end-to-end immigration case lifecycle, and it's used by over 1,000 legal team members to drive their daily work, by over about 2,000 corporate immigration HR professionals, and by hundreds of thousands of people who are corporate employees that travel across the globe or move across the globe. You can go to the next slide. So this slide depicts the end-to-end case lifecycle, and we focused our recent innovation at the start of that lifecycle. So we've built real-time APIs that enable bidirectional flow from client HR systems directly into Cobalt. So from systems like Workday or Salesforce or really any homegrown system, we built it to be system agnostic. This is really important because a change as simple as just a job title or even a home address can trigger updates that would be detrimental to a person's immigration status if it's not handled quickly. So we've taken a process that in the past used to take as long as maybe 6 weeks down to under 30 minutes. And that includes from the time the employee's HR person makes the update in their system to BAL receiving the information, to our legal teams being notified of the changes, and then to them to us making the appropriate changes and updates that need to happen for that person. So as you can imagine, with all the workplace changes that happened during COVID, this automation was essential for enabling our corporate clients to continue to operate their businesses without interruption. We were also the first immigration law firm to build a mobile app, and we included a passport scanner where a user can scan their passport with, your passport has a little barcode at the bottom, and you can scan that barcode with your mobile phone with our app, and we automatically fill in all the passport fields and pass that information directly into Cobalt. I don't know if you've ever looked at your passport before, but it has several series of like letters and numbers that are hard to read and very easy to mistype. One mistype can lead to case delays or even denials. So not only is it a great user experience to be able to just scan a document and have everything sucked in, but it's also something that really ensures data accuracy where it's the most critical. And then finally, we're leveraging OCR within our product to control for human error. So immigration paperwork can include a person's most sensitive information, and that means it even includes like medical and criminal histories. So super, super high risk if anything gets sent to the wrong person or can be accessed by the wrong person. So security is just top of mind with everything that we build and with every feature we put into our product because of that. So we're innovating on Cobalt so that we can even protect against security issues that are a result of human error for critical validation of data. Like I said, security is top of mind for everyone, and that landscape is only going to get harder to navigate. So we're leading the way in our industry by automating things that in the past, a paralegal with a paper file folder would have only dreamed of. We have a lot of exciting plans for this upcoming year, and we really look forward to continuing to lead our industry on the technology front. Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Jamil. Appreciate that very much. Great presentation, and thanks for the big investment in your offices here in Richardson in the Dallas area. So next up is, get back to my podium guide, CBRE, which I remember from years ago being Coldwell Banker Real Estate, but just CBRE. They developed a plug-and-play platform for commercial real estate, the industry that gives customers access to a variety of services offered all online for their buildings. Please welcome CBRE Global Product and Technology Lead, Brennan McReynolds. Brennan, over to you.
Great, thanks so much, Bill, and great to be with everybody today. Congrats to the other finalists, great content, and you know, Andy, thanks. I think from all of us here, thank you to the folks at Match for helping facilitate a lot of our our own personal lives here, myself included. So without further ado, a little bit about CBRE and host specifically. For those of you that may know the CBRE brand by name, a lot of people associate that with a transaction of real estate leasing and brokerage and sales of office, retail, industrial properties. The other thing to know about CBRE, we are the world's largest real estate services provider. And what that means is we manage over 6 billion square feet globally. And traditionally that management of space has been in around the typical traditional facilities management. Over time, when we think about the way that the generations have evolved and interacted with the workplace, and as we interact as consumers, our expectations of how we engage in the workplace have fundamentally changed, and facilities management has evolved into experience management and workplace management within the workplace itself. So 3 years ago, CBRE embarked upon an investment in developing a workplace experience platform that helps enable the employees. So from instead of a B2B technology play only, a B2B2C experience that enables and empowers the employees within our occupiers' workplace to connect to the spaces, to the services and the amenities that are all available to us when we get into the office. So this has been in itself almost the building of a startup and a new brand and a dedicated team that resides here in North Texas. I in fact just moved to North Texas in January to be with the team. So we have product designers, developers, product managers all here in Dallas who've been building and iterating upon this platform for the last 3 years. And then deploying this across our global occupier base. I think what's important about the application itself is just we deliver this experience that unifies and connects these things that inherently are needed for at a consumer individual level within the workplace. And historically, the priorities of those things have always been about our relationship to space, right? What are those pain points that we all experience when we used to, back when Q1, we were in the office habitually. And that's really been around, how do I find a room that's easily available, or a desk that's available, order a coffee, and those things that, just can be streamlined and optimized within the workplace. And that's what we set out to do and what we've been doing for the last, 2.5 years. I think what I wanted to share with you today and why we're excited just to be a finalist is because as an agile team that sits within a very large enterprise, we had to pivot within the moment itself. And if we go to the next slide, we had to think differently because we're no longer in the workplace. What is the role of mobile technology to support the employee remotely? And then as we begin to think about this reentry process, right? And how do we confidently understand what we as individuals and employees need to know about going back into the workplace safely? So we hit pause literally on our roadmap and went out to our clients and stopped and listened to what their priorities were. And it really began to be around this concept of capacity and demand for the workplace itself. For those of you that have gone back, it's probably been in a limited capacity environment. And we begin to graduate across multiple phases of the way that we'll continue to kind of stack ourselves into the into the workplace. So the concept of reservation has emerged, and we've built and added within the host platform the ability to set limited capacity and create a reservation module that sits on top of your ability to safely go back into the workplace. So just a quick example of that user flow is shown here today. It's important for us to leverage the mobile device of the employee as a part of an omni-channel experience that communicates to the employees the same way we do over corporate internet, over email, the availability of our workplaces and the safety protocols and processes that are associated with going back safely in an informed manner. So leveraging the mobile device in a very personal way. The host brand is about anticipating the needs of the user. So you see your name, you see your office location. I reside out of 2100 Ross. My ability to go in, make that reservation, and then upon the day that which I go back, I then have to take an employee self-attestation on my relationship to the types of COVID questions that are controlled and administered at an enterprise level, right? So temperature, travel, those things where I potentially have been exposed. And in doing so, in completion of that affirmation, then I receive an actual pass that I'm safe to go into the workplace. When you think about Cbre as our own occupier and as our own client, we have more than 100 offices in the US. So it's important that we provide safe and transparent ways to go back into the workplace. I think where we take this on the next slide, and just kind of to wrap up, we continue to look at enabling choice within the workplace in the future, right? The future of space, the office, is still questionable, right? We're all gonna have different, we're all gonna use the office differently. It will be more of a destination, and it's our job to make sure that we provide as much options and choices at a user level to associate with one another and to associate with space safely. So the other things that we've done in the moment to really create that level of safety and confidence is providing a heat mapping functionality. So within the host application, you can see the floor plan at which you exist in today. You see available rooms that are in green, but we've also leveraged IoT devices to populate a heat map of where people have preoccupied the space prior to where you are right now. So you can begin to choose where you want to associate with the workplace based off of where potentially people have been before that. And then the application can also recommend safe desks and a socially distanced kind of pattern depending on your own parameters in order to book and associate with space for a day. A lot of what we've heard from our global clients have been desk booking, a proper assignment of space, and the host helps accommodate that. So that's a little bit what we've been working on. Strong pivot from how we began this journey 3 years ago, but it's really upon us to make sure that we leverage the power and the knowledge of Cbre to create the opportunity for people to associate the workplace safely moving forward. So thank you guys for the time and the opportunity to participate today. I did see a question around how do we monetize hosts. Hosts is we've created a SaaS platform, software as a service, within the organization, and that's how we've gone to market. So thank you.
Thanks, Brennan. Thanks so much. And that's a good reminder that please put your questions in chat. We'll get to the Q&A here after the next presentation. So the last finalist in the corporate innovation category is Omnitrax. Omnitrax has created a cloud-based fleet management platform using a mobile app that shifts service from an on-premise to a software as a service solution for fleet managers. Speaking on behalf of Omnitrax is CTO Kent Norton. Kent?
Thank you, Bill. Hey, thanks everybody. I really appreciate the opportunity to tell the Omnitrax story. And first, let me just mention that I apologize on behalf of our CEO, who is really looking forward to giving this presentation today, and unfortunately had a personal event come up. So I'm honored to give the Omnitrax story here, and kind of excited. I've been with Omnitrax for about 2.5 years, but Omnitrax is a serial innovator in many ways. Founded the fleet telematics business about 30 years ago in San Diego. And out of that little business came a much bigger one called Qualcomm. And Qualcomm got so big that they spun Omnitrax out about 6 years ago. And through that process, Omnitrax migrated and became headquartered in downtown Dallas, which we're proud to be. And quickly after that acquisition, or the divestiture of Omnitrax, Omnitrax bought 2 additional companies, and that's where the story begins. Because we were delivering these products to our customers on these 3 platforms. We touch over 1 million trucks, many trucks which have names that come to your house that you guys are really familiar with. But they were running on 3 different platforms, developed in different technologies, different teams that were developing in different methodologies. And I entered the stage about 2.5 years ago, looking at those 3 platforms and saying, the market's changing really fast. And we needed to be able to innovate much more rapidly and get new technologies out into the fleets of the trucks that are using our products. Key amongst those, for instance, is the ability for us to get real-time workflow information to the drivers. And it becomes an increasingly competitive differentiator for our customers to be able to do that, so that from the minute they deliver something at one location, they need to know where's the best next location that they can deliver something. So anyway, that's the beginning of the story. 3 large software platforms, but we realized that it was very difficult for us to continue to enhance and expand them. One of them was built over the course of 30 years. So we made the really difficult decision that said, rather than try to converge them onto one of the existing platforms, let's jump over all 3. Let's create a brand new one, cloud native from the very beginning, and let's think about it in a very fresh way. And it gave us an opportunity to truly innovate the things that our customers valued most out of our existing products. But here's the key. And actually, this is the 3rd time I've done this. So, I've got some scars along with this process. But one of the things I've learned along the way is, if you're going to transform a company, and we're doing this internally, think of this as disrupting yourself. If you're going to do that, you really need to think about doing it in a way that you don't accidentally recreate your past in your future. And that's the classic thing. We love our platforms. We love our developers. We've got over 500. But the reality is that they have a bias for the existing platforms and the existing software patterns that they've learned over many years. So I call it the secret sauce, but one of the things that we did that I think is transformative, and it allows us to be successful and has allowed us to be successful, was to pick a partner. That their entire mission for us was to make sure we didn't make some bad decisions. So as we jumped over our existing platforms, we got into a cloud native configuration. We wanted a partner that says, here's the best technologies, here's the right microservice patterns that you guys should be following. And that allowed us to move very fast. Who was that partner? Well, that partner was Red Hat. So really excited. So let me move on to the next slide. And I'll give you a really simple visual of what we did. Whoop, there we go. Nope, one more. There we go. So we took 3 products: Roadnet Technologies, which is a last mile product; XRS, which was really a mobile compliance product; and our flagship product, which is a long haul product called Omnitrax, basically enterprise services. And we converged those into 3 basically brought those three platforms together in a kind of a unique way that bought us some time. And we brought the technologies, the best of the technologies from those three platforms into one, let's call it a temporary kind of configuration. That allowed us to get some fresh new technology out into our customers' hands. In parallel, we began this process with Red Hat of ideating what our new future platform would look like. So we literally came up with the idea, said, look, if we're gonna do this, let's go big or go home. So we said, let's redo how we do our development. Let's redo the entire concept of how we deliver software to our customers. Let's be able to automate everything. We just had a mantra, if we do it more than twice, automate it. So our complete process for how software was first conceptualized to the point where it was delivered, completely automated through a cloud-based distribution, all obviously in a cloud environment. So that actually allowed us to collapse and converge teams as far as what they were doing, our methodology for how software was delivered, automating CI/CD pipelines for ensuring that code testing, security testing, performance management testing, all of those things were fully automated, which allowed us to move away from really what was previously 3-month delivery cycles to, if we wanted to, we could deliver every 2 weeks to our customers. Pretty exciting. And if you're not familiar with the technologies that are in trucks today, it will probably blow you away. Everything from cameras to full integration with brakes and transmissions, and of course, all the engines, trailers, you name it, trucks are wired for sound today. So next slide, please. So what that allows us to do, if you really want to think about it from a compare and contrast, we really had more of a traditional IT environment for our software, even more so for the software architectures that sat on top of those IT platforms, which really caused us to have to deliver our products in a monolithic kind of way, made troubleshooting very difficult. But we had manual deployments. You can imagine people up Friday nights, Saturday nights, doing deployments to our customers, even having some outages. All of that got transformed to cloud native everything, automated everything, decoupled services so that we could actually have different roadmaps down to the service level that didn't impact the others, and everything was event driven, obviously gives us scalability, gives us a performance. And we also did it as infrastructure we automated our infrastructure build process so that no matter where we wanted to be in the world, and we are a multinational trucking company supplier, and so we could literally create a new version of this implementation anywhere in the world in about 2 hours with the automation that was built into it. So anyway, I thank you. Hopefully you guys understand the nature of this type of a transformation, pretty significant. I had more hair when I got started, but I got to tell you, it's very, very rewarding, and it's very energizing for our employee base. So thanks for the honor of being able to tell you guys a little bit about this, and I appreciate getting a chance to talk to you guys.
Thank you, Kent. Appreciate that very much. And thank you to all the finalists who presented in the corporate innovation category. So I just want to ask you all a question real quick. And you can choose to answer or not. I understand that some of this may be proprietary, but I'm curious about the time it took to develop the solution and the cost. So if any of you would want to take a stab at that, just time and cost. All proprietary, huh? Well, I got to imagine it was expensive and it took a while. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can throw something out there. Not throw something out there, but I can provide a little bit of insight, at least, to how we think about our development cycle for our products. Obviously, we're consumer focused, so the key for us is just getting a product in front of the consumer as quickly as possible. Our team, the benchmark is from like conception to delivering a product to a consumer is 3 to 4 months. That's kind of what we shoot for. Cost, it's kind of all over the place, but what you're talking about mostly just a handful of developers, a designer, and since we have so many existing users, we can put it in front of them pretty quickly. So it's more time for us than money.
Okay. People cost.
Yeah. And Bill, I'd say at our side, we started the journey with Host early 2018, and or early 2017, and we delivered our first MVP for our client about 9 months later. So to go from no product into an enterprise grade, be able to think about, as a real estate company delivering an end user technology within the enterprise, there were some learnings there, right? We're not traditionally seeing Cbre as delivering end user technology to the Fortune 500 enterprise. So going through data privacy, going through InfoSec, enterprise security was all a part of that process. And that first iteration took 9 months. We've replatformed once since then. We completely redid the user experience to be more flexible, configurable across brands. When you look at Host, every client configures it to the aesthetic, so it looks like your company. This isn't about Cbre. It's about delivering an experience that matches and mirrors that of the client's brand and experience. And in doing so, we've continued to iterate and invest in making sure we deliver an enterprise-grade quality application.
Hey, so
I could say ours.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, ours is pretty similar to what Brennan just explained. We went from nothing at all to our MVP product in about 9 months, and then 9 months after that, our product was ready and to the point where we could migrate all of our entire client base and internal users onto it. Like I said, about 9 months after that. And then as we deliver each of these big innovative features, it's about a 4 to 6 month life cycle for each of those big features to be added into the product.
So 9 months is the magic number. We started with whiteboards and sticky notes in Deep Ellum, Genius Den, with our Red Hat partners. And 9 months later, we had a platform, brand new, everything up and running.
Kent, a question for you. What's the one new thing, the shift to a cloud-based platform enabled you to do that you weren't able to do in an on-premise platform?
Well, scale and scale infinitely. So that, I mean, you can scale in a data center, but it's really expensive and it takes a lot of manual labor. So for us, everything's automated now as load comes on. Trucking varies pretty significantly over the course of the day and a week. System automatically can adjust to that.
Very good. I do notice that Lance Vaughn put a comment in chat. Anything in the 3 to 9 month range is respectable. More than a year and you're doing something wrong. Okay. Thank you, Lance. All right. Well, thank our corporate innovation finalists. Best of luck to all of you. Well done. Okay, so next up is our emerging company innovation category presented by Fujitsu. Thank you, Fujitsu. This award recognizes a technology company for outstanding innovation and unique accomplishments through a recent or breakthrough technology, a new approach with the technology, or a new approach within the technology industry. The company must be headquartered in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and have 2019 operating revenues of less than $200 million. Our first finalist to present in the emerging company category is Asset Panda, which uses a flexible software as a service platform that integrates legacy systems like spreadsheets into a mobile asset tracking platform. Please welcome Asset Panda CEO, Rex Kurzius. Rex, I like all the pandas in your background picture.
I'm constantly surrounded by pandas. You gotta love those animals. It's slightly disappointing that we're less than 200 million in revenue, but we're working on that.
You'll get up there.
We'll get up there eventually. I appreciate everyone for having us. It's an honor to be on this call with you. And congratulations to the other finalists. It's really exciting to be in a market like Dallas with so many innovative, interesting entrepreneurs working on changing the world one day at a time. But I thought I'd tell you a little bit about the story about Asset Panda and then give you some details about what we're doing as a business. First off, I'll say as the founder of Asset Panda, I didn't go out and wake up one morning and think, God, I really want to track assets. That sounds like a lot of fun. Asset tracking was kind of an annoyance and a pain for me and a few other businesses I had built up and sold. We found that there was quite a bit of loss of IT assets, in particular, ones that were moving around pretty significantly. And the dominant solutions that people would primarily use were either an accounting system or a spreadsheet. So in an accounting system, I could get information like the serial number, what it was, the depreciated amount, but it didn't really tell me anything about who had it, where it was, what condition it was in, and certainly didn't accommodate any workflow. And then on the spreadsheet, we found that it was very hard to keep up with the information on the spreadsheets and to keep it accurate. And we continually went through this process of writing things off. So I ideated a little bit and I thought, you know, there's got to be a room in the world for an app essentially that helped companies track and manage the things that they owned. So we started on the journey of Asset Panda. And as we built out Asset Panda, we realized that we had stumbled upon a market that was global and could help solve a problem that virtually any organization in the world had. And it struck me right away that it was interesting that there was no dominant platform for asset tracking, because ultimately we all have the same kind of problem. It's just the workflow in between procuring an asset and then disposing of it that's a little bit different for everyone. So we built Asset Panda as a platform that's highly adaptable to the use case, and it's kind of our secret sauce. Anything can be an asset, and our clients blow us away every day with the different types of problems that they solve regarding assets. Think of everything from sports memorabilia for the Golden State Warriors to Tesla, Facebook, Amazon, all accounts of ours. Plus we're tracking endangered prairie chickens for the Houston Zoo. So everybody's got something different that they deem of value that they want to track. And our job is to create a platform that can adapt to the unique workflows of each one of our clients. So the center of the universe for us is actually the asset itself. And if you think about asset tracking, there's lots of different software categories that go around it. So it could be pure fixed asset tracking, it could be lease asset tracking, calibration, mileage, inspections, etc. So we developed a platform that would allow a company to adapt their workflows specifically to the application itself, rendered to them instantly on a mobile device. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. So we want to answer the question way beyond what's happening with my assets. We want to give them information that helps them speak their specific language as a client. And that unique workflow that happens from procurement to disposing of an asset is unique to every company. So we have situations like Disney. We track the tools that they use to repair roller coasters. We track nuclear waste. We track drone submarines around the world. So there's lots of different things that they need to track, but the workflow is different. So we customize it and allow it to adapt to exactly the way that they work. You can go to the next one. So Asset Panda, ultimately, we're trying to help the world work smarter. We think that there is a way for us to help companies save time and money by doing a much better job of tracking their assets. We currently track millions of assets for companies all over the world. Because the system's highly adaptable, it works for the CEO just as well as it would work for a frontline worker. The average company that uses Asset Panda saves over 800% just in time savings alone. And when COVID-19 hit, we're a contactless platform that allows workers to basically track and manage their assets anywhere they are. So COVID ended up being a pretty powerful accelerator for us. So as we look forward to the future, we've got a confluence of different technologies like 5G and IoT that are going to demand a global platform to track and manage for our clients. So that's what we've positioned Asset Panda to be, so the global leader of tracking and managing assets. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Rex. What was it you said that you were tracking for the Houston Zoo?
Endangered prairie chickens.
Prairie chickens. I'm gonna have to Google a picture of what a prairie chicken looks like. Very cool. So the next finalist is Balanced Media Technology. This company is a crowdsourced healthcare artificial intelligence company that uses gaming to affect patient outcomes and better understand the causes of diseases. Our presenter is the company's CEO, Robert Atkins. Robert, you're up. Robert. You're
Yeah,
muted,
here we
Robert.
go. I got you. Awesome. Sorry about that. So I just wanted to say thank you, Tech Titans, for putting together the event. We all appreciate the efforts and extraordinary challenges you work through. Balance is a purpose-driven technology company. We believe we're going to change the world by building technology that empowers video gamers, live streaming, esports fans to help solve the most important challenges of our lifetime by combining human intelligence with artificial intelligence for a powerful new way to unlock opportunities. You know, the world is full of gamers and screen time is real, even more so in a COVID world. And when I started making games in 1992 in DFW, there were 100 million gamers worldwide. Now there are over 2.6 billion gamers. We're spending 1 billion hours a day playing games, making up about 30% of the population who play games. But if you think about people who have access to the internet, access to hardware, it's about 60% who are gamers. And in comparison to the billion hours we spend playing games, we only spend about 140 million hours watching Netflix. Even Wilder, this generation, this year alone in 2020, we're going to spend over 12 billion hours on Twitch watching someone else play games. And if you think about our children, by the time they're 21, they're going to spend over 10,000 hours playing games. That's like a secondary educational track. As a parent, as a developer, I think it's paramount we address this in a meaningful way. Please go to the next slide. So, you know, that's really the why the Balance team, you know, we imagine the world in a time we're spending enjoying entertainment. We also spend time unlocking opportunity. With our human platform, we've designed and enabled the worldwide gaming community to play out problems through specially designed gaming interfaces that are enabled with industry data. With human, we have woven together the joy of play with the reward of real-world problem solving. So what if you are simply breaking blocks on your favorite mobile game, and at the same time, you're helping find treatments to multi-drug resistant cancers? You can. Imagine defending your base from alien hordes, and while you're blasting their ships, you're simultaneously training more accurate imagery, AI, and machine learning. It's learning to be more precise and identify eye disease that causes blindness. We've done this. What if you could educate the 100 million monthly active users playing Minecraft how to program inside of the game? Not only will they be learning STEM-based skills, with the human platform, they will also be solving important data problems that advance industry. With our partners, this is occurring. What if you could crowdsource 6 months of data science during a single esports event, while at the same time bringing your brands closer to the engagement from this community? Once again, it's happened. And what if I told you that during the same exact gameplay minute, we can solve multiple problem types simultaneously? All of these things are transpiring right now in our human platform. Next slide. Can you start the slide over? Thank you. Remember Jimmy? Imagine what could be accomplished at the same 10,000 hours he was engaged with gaming. He was also helping unlock personal opportunities. You see, this young man is not just a gamer, he's a cancer survivor. And while he's playing our game, The 8th Cell, he's reinforcing his own medical treatment. And play is removing fear, replacing it with a sense of empowerment. Now he has a new tool to visualize winning the fight against cancer. Within the game, he's also becoming an expert in college-level microbiology. I think the slide is stuck, but you can. That's okay, you can start the slide over. While he's in the game, he's also becoming an expert in college-level microbiology within a safe educational space empowered by immersive learning. Outcomes are improved, and Jimmy's becoming the hero of his own treatment. Beyond game-based learning, human anatomy and physiology, the 8th Cell is connected to the human platform so that the player's choices in the game have tangible impact in fighting the real-world battles against disease. This is the future of medical treatment and discovery. Don't you think it's time for the world which we can empower our kids to do something positive with their screen time? They are the why driving our company to innovate. At Balance, we're bringing together technology solutions that will fundamentally level up humanity. The world needs it, Our children deserve it, and now is a time to bring purpose to play, because together we will accomplish what could not be accomplished by man or machine alone. On the behalf of the entire Balance team, thank you, Tech Titans, for voting us a finalist in this year's Emerging Innovation category. I wish all the finalists success in their endeavors and look forward to the opportunity for collaboration between our companies.
Thanks, Robert. Great presentation, great product. You were getting lots of kudos in chat for what you've done. Hedera Hashgraph is our next emerging company innovation finalist. This company can instantaneously process hundreds of thousands of transactions per second through its publicly distributed ledger technology platform. Please welcome company co-founder and CEO, Mance Harmon. Mance, good to see you again.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you for having me here. Thank you to the Tech Titans team for the honor. I appreciate it. I think to set the context, in the past 50 years, we have seen two prior really waves of tech innovation that's changed the way that we work together, the way that we play together, the way that we buy and sell goods and services with one another, even the way that we find our mates. In the 70s, it was the PC revolution. In the 90s, the World Wide Web. What we're now seeing is the third wave, and that is distributed ledger technology, often referred to as blockchain, as a certain type of DLT. My co-founder, Dr. Lehman Baird, went to work in 2012 trying to solve a fundamental math problem, how to build a distributed consensus algorithm that maximized both security and performance at the same time. In 2015, he discovered what today we call the hash graph. That's what the industry knows the technology by name now. And hash graph is fundamentally superior to blockchain, both in terms of performance and security. Where blockchain processes information in sort of a linear fashion, Hashgraph is able to parallelize that and achieve the limits that are theoretically possible in terms of security that gives it performance, security, and ultra low cost as a result. Next slide, please. In 2017, we decided to build a public network using the Hashgraph technology as an alternative to the existing platforms. You know, back then it was Bitcoin and Ethereum. There are other players today, but we identified four fundamental problems that we wanted to address that prevented mainstream adoption of this technology. The first was performance, and we've already checked that box just with the Hashgraph algorithm. In private networks, Hashgraph can do hundreds of thousands of transactions per second. In a global public network, throttled today, we're at 10,000 transactions per second. To give you a sense of scale, Bitcoin can process 7 and Ethereum can process 15 transactions per second. That's the difference. It's the difference between a calculator and a computer. In terms of security, we've achieved the limits. And if you're going to be building a global infrastructure with billions or trillions of dollars of value transfer, then you need to have that level of security. Stability, we needed to be able to make sure that the market understands that our platform was never going to split or fork into multiple platforms the way that the public networks do today. And then finally, governance. And this one is probably as important, if not more important than the other three. If mainstream enterprises and governments are going to be building their solutions on top of this global public infrastructure, then they need to know that they can trust those that are governing the infrastructure itself, its roadmap, the way it's managed, etc. Next slide, please. So we created Hedera Hashgraph, and Hedera Hashgraph is a company that is commercializing Hashgraph in this global network context. The governing body will ultimately be 39 global blue chip organizations specifically chosen to be cross-industry, geo-distributed, and then finally distributed through time. In other words, the governing body changes over time. You can't stay a governing member forever. We have 15 today, and these are the logos. We've got some of the biggest companies in the world: Google, IBM, Nomura, DT, WorldPay. You could see the list: Boeing, LG, and the organization is functional. It's operational. These companies are Hedera. They are members of an LLC legally, and they provide the oversight of the platform, product roadmap, treasury management. They function both as a customer advisory board as well as a board of directors, as it were, through the use of committees. Next slide, please. There are some use cases that have just sort of naturally risen to the top for our platform: asset tokenization, being able to tokenize assets and get liquidity through that tokenization process that's otherwise hard to get. It's just one example. CBDCs are another example. Proof of action, integrating into existing workflows with enterprises to provide an additional layer of trust over and above what they can provide just as a centralized single organization by themselves, which flows into regulatory compliance. And you can imagine ways that regulators might like this kind of technology. Next slide, please. Since launching about a year ago, September of last year, the network has very quickly grown. We're at about 17 transactions per second with many, many dozens of applications running on top. Again, for scale, that's about twice the volume that Ethereum currently has. So within the first year, we far exceeded what Ethereum is already doing by about 2x. And looking forward to a bright future. Thank you very much. Bill?
Mance, thanks so much. Congratulations on a great product and a great trajectory. Always fascinated by what you're doing with distributed ledger technology, and wow on the transaction rates per second. Amazing stuff.
Thank you.
He truly has a brilliant co-partner. And when did he get his PhD from Carnegie Mellon? How old is he?
So Lehman, when? It was back in the 90s. I don't know exactly when, but he is brilliant. He's, it's rare to meet an individual like Lehman. I guess one story, Lehman set the record, since you mentioned his PhD, he set the record for getting his PhD in the shortest amount of time at Carnegie Mellon Computer Science. He got it in 2 years and 9 months. Typical PhD from CMU is about 9 years. And even today, when people try to get their PhDs quickly, they'll say you're trying to pull a Lehman. And so he's got a reputation that persists there at CMU.
Every time I talk to him, he kind of reminds me of, the character on TV. Golly, what am I thinking about? Young Sheldon,
Yes.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thanks so much, man. Appreciate it. Okay, so Spark Biomedical completes our presenters of emerging company innovation finalists. This company has developed a wearable neurostimulation device that helps people withdraw from opioid and drug addiction, and which in most cases offers relief within the hour. Please welcome CEO Daniel Powell. Daniel.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I really appreciate it. We move to the next slide. Spark Biomedical is a Texas medical device company. Our management team has over 150 years combined in medical device technology, and specifically neuromodulation and neurostimulation. In fact, most of us met right up the street in Plano at, you may know it as ANS, St. Jude Medical, or now Abbott. In fact, while I was there, I believe we had the honor to, ANS had the honor to participate in this program many years ago. Like the intro said, we are developing a neuromodulation system specifically that's wearable, and it's used to either help people taper off opioids who are physically dependent, or completely abstain from opioids who are addicted and will go through painful withdrawal. And then a third application actually for babies born dependent on withdrawal. And so our device is clinically proven. We finished our first clinical study, And we saw a 58% reduction in the clinical opioid withdrawal scale within the first hour, which is the gold standard of measuring withdrawal. And if we take a second, we're all aware of the opioid epidemic. It's a little overshadowed right now in the middle of the pandemic. But one of the major problems that has caused the opioid epidemic to be so bad is how much the drug rewires the brain and the nervous system, both functionally and physically. And so to get off the drugs, you have to go through an extremely painful withdrawal process. And this is measured with an 11-point scale called the COW scale, the Clinical Opioid Withdrawal Scale. And this is highly objective. It's gastric distress, sweating, anxiety, anxiousness, pupil dilation, elevated heart rate. And so across the board, we saw all those measures nearly halved within 1 hour of use. And everybody started in moderate withdrawal, which is pretty bad. It's extreme discomfort and anxiety. It is a very unpleasant experience. 1/3 of the patients had no withdrawal within 60 minutes with the device being applied. And like we said, it's non-invasive, drug-free, no drug interactions, no other pharma, which is very important, that you're not introducing more drugs into the system. And it's a completely wearable ambulatory system, so you can go about activities of daily living. Now, while our clinical trial was within a residential living facility, there's still ping pong tables and chairs and couches and people playing Xbox and living mostly a normal life within the facility. So at this point in time and success, we have a finished product, finished clinical study. The device is with the FDA, and we expect to be on market within about 3 to 4 weeks. We are right around the corner of launching this product. And if you go to the next slide. So as we prepare for launch, we have two major initiatives going on simultaneously. We have lined up a commercial team to begin to introduce this. We do believe in walking before we run, so we have key centers with doctors that we've been working with to introduce this technology and make sure we understand the clinical pathway and flow of introducing this product into the market. And then from there, we'll grow it more nationwide. More excited and a passion of ours, along this journey, we became aware of the 35,000 babies born every year dependent on opioids. So their mothers used opioids, either were on painkillers legitimately or were on illicit drugs, and the babies are born into withdrawal. And the major standard of care for a pregnant mom on opioids is to not take them off, because the withdrawal distress on their body would jeopardize the life of the baby. It would most likely be lost. So you almost have to have the baby born into dependency and into a physical dependency and withdrawal. And the average baby stays in the hospital for about 21 days in the NICU, the single most expensive bed in the hospital, more expensive than the normal ICU bed. And that 21 days, they taper the morphine every 4 hours to slowly taper down the baby off opioids. Our first 4 babies, we were able to taper completely off opioids within the first 10 days. And our 5th baby was able to completely taper off opioids within 5 days. So not only is it a humanitarian thing, but it's an enormous healthcare saving to the hospital. So mainly county or university hospitals. These are not being paid by private insurance. And then for the child, they're normally underdeveloped with an underdeveloped liver, and giving them heavy duty narcotics like morphine every 4 hours is a very unideal situation. So we're very excited about that initiative. Our 6th baby was enrolled yesterday. So how fast these slides go out of being accurate is fine with me. And we hope to have that product on market by the end of the year. So thank you so much. I'm really a big fan of Tech Titans, and congratulations to everybody else on the panel. Thank you.
Well, congratulations, Daniel, to you and the folks there, and just what amazing things all of you are doing. By the way, I kind of remember, Daniel, that in that legacy of names between ANS and there was a St. Jude in there, I think, somewhere along the line.
Yes.
And Where is the former CEO, Chris Chavez? What's he doing?
Chris Chavez went on to TrickyMed, TrickyMed, and flipped them in a very successful IPO. Went on to the board of directors for Nuvectra. Unfortunately, they went bankrupt here late. They didn't get him back in there in time, I would say. So I think he's probably out on his very big ranch, retired at this point in time.
Well, hopefully he's not out of the game. And by the way,
it's Chris. He'll never be out of the game.
yeah, that's what I remember meeting him. And so, if you wouldn't mind, would all of you kind of put your contact information in chat? A number of people have asked for it, and that'd be greatly appreciated. Robert, a question for you. What made you conceive of using gaming as a way to solve diseases? How in the world did that spark happen?
I often tell people that I didn't come up with the idea, that I just worked for my partners, and they were the brilliant minds behind this. My partner Carl had the idea of a game where you could go inside the body and learn and educate and teach kids what's really happening. So maybe they would improve their lifestyles or something fun in a way. And we know games educate, but then it was my other partner, Dr. Corey Clark, who actually won Tech Titan last year for technology invention. He had the idea of let's crowdsource real data, real problem types while people are engaged with games. So those two things kind of came together to be able to use games to really show immersive learning, at the same time be able to actually be processing medical, in this case, medical data, to really be able to quantify that we're making a difference. And that's really kind of the magic sauce. And the platform is problem agnostic. We just decided to start with medical industry because we all have a body, and Carl's passion to teach was those two things really was what propelled the company to begin.
Amazing. I told the audience that to me, this is the most fascinating, annual event that we sponsor, just to think about the innovation that, companies are having in matching people up and dating and creating lives together, and in fleet management, or how you help, an immigrant, get across borders legally, what you're doing in distributed ledger technology or in asset tracking, and all the things that you all are doing. Just such an amazing job. It's no wonder that you're finalists in this award category. If I could, I'd give you all the award. Okay, just let me just put it that way. You'd all win, and you all have one. So let's see. I think there's a question. And to clarify, these games are pre-existing, or are they developed for this sole purpose?
Yeah, so the 8th Cell is our intellectual IP that we built on the Unreal Engine. If you might not know the Unreal Engine, but I'm sure you've heard of Fortnite. The Unreal Engine is the game engine that runs a tremendous amount of games in the industry. So what we do is we put our technology into game engines. So we're in the Unreal Engine, we're in the Unity engine, which most games that are on mobile are using Unity, HTML5. And so we're gaming platform agnostic as well. And so the other thing is we wanted to prove that we could put our technology into pre-existing games. So we're putting it into Minecraft, and that way, on the server side, people who are engaging with Minecraft could be doing the same thing. So our company doesn't want to build every game to solve the problems. We're building technology that can go into any game.
Cool. Mance, you may have seen the question in chat that Lehman says that Hedera can change the way that the internet operates. Is that still your goal?
Yes. So when you think about the internet today, it's grown up from just a large collection of interconnected computers starting in, way back in the 70s or even earlier, and it is what it is today. This technology is a layer on top, and I like to call it a trust layer that operates on top of the internet. And so applications that are being built still, of course, use the internet, but they can take advantage of the trust layer in some fundamental ways that makes it possible for us, the users, to not have to trust a single organization, not to misuse or modify or change or somehow abuse the fact that they are a single organization with control over that information. It distributes the management. It creates an additional layer of transparency. So it is the intent, I certainly expect it will be the case, that distributed ledger technology in general will become a new layer on the tech stack that we call the internet and will become mainstreamed. Yeah.
Cool. Well, again, congratulations to all of you for being finalists. I want to remind everybody that the gala is next Friday. We'll start with a set of 5 different thought leadership breakout sessions that you can sign up for $75 from 3:15 to 3:45. We'll have a thought leadership session sponsored by Nokia, Corvo, the semiconductor company, and if somebody remind me the third one, I'm going to blank on that. I apologize. And then I'm going to do a fireside chat with our corporate CEO of the year, who will announce next week. And my chair, Amy Wheelis, will do a fireside chat with our Hall of Fame inductee, Valerie Freeman. So you can sign up for one of those 5. And then at 3:45, we go into the pre-show. We'll present some awards during them. We'll have a countdown, and then we'll get into the gala from 4 to 5. So cocktail up, get your snacks out, and get ready to rock and roll, because we're going to have a lot of fun, baby. It's going to be virtual, but it's going to be really cool. So Deb, over to you.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Thank you again to all of our finalists, and congratulations. Looking forward to next Friday's show. Before we go into our unique networking session, I want to invite you to the last tech industry luncheon for 2020, which will be on November 20th. We will have Lucas Rodriguez, who was the founder and former CEO of Cbre Therapeutics. And Cbre has developed technology that relieves pain so one doesn't have to get started on opioids to begin with. And he has had a fantastic exit from 0 to 3 years. He made a multi-million-dollar exit last month, and he's going to talk to us about how he was able to do that. So come join us. The presentation, again, will be virtual, and we hope to see you all.